Ambassador Lana Kim stood by the observation window of Harmony Point, watching the stars drift through the quiet black of space. Earth floated in the distance like a blue and green marble, calm and silent. She adjusted her uniform, took a slow breath, and waited for the message she knew was coming. Ambassador, her AI companion Juno said softly. It hovered next to her as a glowing orb of soft light. Priority transmission from the Galactic Council. She didn't flinch. Put it through. The screen lit up, and there he was, Supreme Commander Core of the Tekari Empire, a towering insectoid with sharp limbs and sharper eyes. His claws twitched with agitation. His voice, when translated, came through as a mechanical hiss. There is no honor in this, human. The 3,000-year peace between our species is over. Lana raised an eyebrow. That's quite the greeting. You've overstepped. Colonizing the Epsilon sector violates the Treaty of Proxima. You refuse to acknowledge our superiority. So now we erase you. In the background, other alien representatives shifted in discomfort. Even the crystalline ambassador from Vex gave a subtle shimmer. An apology, perhaps. But Lana? She didn't flinch. She just took a sip of her old ceramic earth mug, calm as ever. That small accent had twitched through Core's upper limbs. I see, she said, setting the mug down. And the council's position on your little tantrum? Core waved a claw. They've been informed. This is between Tekari and humans now. Lana didn't look at Juno, but she knew the AI was already recording. Every second of this mattered. So be it, she said, her voice even. We accept. Shock rippled through the chamber. Even Core's compound eyes widened. We accept your declaration of war, she said, brushing a wrinkle from her sleeve. Juno, activate Protocol Pandora. Authorization, Kim 7 Delta Omega. The AI pulsed. Protocol Pandora activated. Defense grid engaged. Council representatives stared in disbelief. This wasn't how war declarations went. Not with humans. They were supposed to be the soft ones. The diplomats. The ones who avoided conflict. But Lana? She just sipped her coffee and waited. You're making a mistake, Core growled. Your defenses are outdated. Your colonies are exposed. You have no chance. Lana smiled. Then I guess you've got nothing to worry about. And that's when the message went out. Every screen, every comm, every terminal across human space lit up with the same calm alert. Protocol Pandora active. Stay calm. Continue normal activities. And somehow, people did. On Mars, researchers laughed over coffee. In Europa's labs, engineers chuckled. In the asteroid belt, miners dropped their tools to share a belly laugh. On a quiet farming colony, a grandfather told his grandkids, no, we're not in danger. This is the day we've been waiting for. In universities, lectures paused. One professor at New Oxford smiled and said, looks like today's theoretical physics class just got a little too real. Her students laughed. Across every hidden military base tucked in gas giants, buried in moons, resting behind Saturn's rings, systems long dormant began to wake. Lights flickered. Shields shimmered. Ships older than nations powered up with quiet confidence. Lana watched Core's confusion bloom into fear. Maybe you'll regret this, he said. Maybe, she said, already turning back to the stars. But I doubt it. The screen went dark at the edge of the Sol system. 1,000 Tekari warships arrived in perfect formation. Their hulls gleamed with living metal. Their admiral, Mach, watched Earth drift into view and gave the order. Prepare for bombardment. Except, Earth wasn't there. Status, he barked. Admiral, his officer said, antennae twitching. Earth is gone. The moon's still there. But Earth is just gone. No gravitational reading. None. No cloaking signature. No trace. Mach stared at the screen, at the empty spot where Earth should be. This isn't possible. And then the lights on the bridge shifted. A swirl of light spun into shape. Human, female, calm. The hologram was flawless, like she was standing right there. Looking for something? She asked. We moved it. Mach blinked. You moved a planet. Just a precaution, she said. We've been expecting you. He puffed out his chest. You'll surrender now? Or we'll... You won't, she interrupted. What you're feeling? That slowdown in time? That's our gravitic fold network. For us, this conversation is happening in real time. For the rest of the galaxy? It's been 3 seconds since you arrived. All around the ship, sensors started flashing red. Unknown devices detected, the science officer stammered. They're scanning us. Nothing stops them. Just collecting data, she said with a smile. Mock snarled. Where's your planet? Where's your fleet? The woman's tone shifted. We've been preparing for 3,000 years. You thought we were playing catch-up? No, we were just being polite. On the moon, something stirred. Hidden structures opened. Energy spiked. That, she said, is one of our older platforms. We got newer ones, but that one'll do. Mock stared at the energy readings. His science team stared too. Then came the quiet realization. They couldn't win. Go home, the humans said. Tell your leaders. We still want peace. But next time, we won't be so gentle. Back aboard his ship, Mock sat alone, poring through the data left behind. The files weren't just terrifying. They were humbling. Ships that absorbed planetary-scale weapons like light rain. Shields that bent space around them, making attacks vanish. Communications that couldn't be jammed, tracked, or intercepted. Dyson swarms collecting power from entire stars. And then came the nanomachines. Tiny things, invisible to the eye, slipped into their bodies the moment they entered human-controlled space. Mapping. Watching. Not harming. Not yet. When his second-in-command saw the scans showing nanobots in his bloodstream, he staggered back in shock. They're inside all of us. Mock nodded grimly. And they're not even weapons. Just observers. A message came through. The face of an older human man appeared. Calm. Weathered. Kind. Even Admiral Mock. I'm Park. Hope you had time to review our file. I have. Some of it seems unbelievable. We left out the really wild stuff, Park said with a smile. But we figured you'd get the point. Why reveal this now? Mock asked. Why pretend to be weak? Because strength without restraint breeds fear, Park said. We almost wiped ourselves out once. We learned. We watched. We waited. And we built. The image shifted. Earth, suspended in a pocket dimension, wrapped in protective layers that could stop stars from exploding. You want to know what we want? Park asked. Nothing you don't offer freely. Trade. Peace. Cooperation. But if war comes again, it won't end well. Back at Tekari High Command, Mock reported everything. We must attack, said Supreme Commander Vex. You've been deceived. Mock tried to reason with them. He showed them the data. He told them about the nanobots, the missing planet, the way time itself bent around human space. They let us live, he said. That was their warning. But Vex waved them off. We strike now. A mining colony. A weak one. We'll show them what war really means. And so the fleet went. Over the mining world of New Haven, 3,000 warships appeared. Tekari weapons powered up. Civilians below continued eating, laughing, working. In alarms. No panique. Just another day. The Tekari fired, and time stopped. Energy beams froze mid-flight. Missiles hung in space. The Tekari officers couldn't move, but their minds were awake. Trapped that a face appeared on every screen. Commander Lee, we warned you, she said gently. You didn't listen. She reached out. Her hand passed through the screen, into their ships. Across the fleet, weapons vanished. Shields collapsed. Engines glitched. But no one was harmed. This is the smallest demonstration we could manage, she said. Then came the ships. Human vessels unlike anything the Tekari had seen. Sleek, organic, beautiful. They had been there the whole time, cloaked in plain sight. Lee spoke once more. Go home. Tell your leaders. We still want peace. But we will never be vulnerable again. The fleet turned back, defeated without a fight. That on the surface, a technician named Shin got a text from his wife. Don't forget dessert. He smiled and got back to work. At T Harmony Point, a new meeting was called. 27 species gathered. The Tekari stood in silence, humbled. Then a single human entered, an old man. A cane. No guards. No weapons. I'm Choi, he said. Historian. Negotiator. Here to answer questions. Why hide your strength? One alien asked. To give peace a chance, Choi replied. To give everyone time to grow. We helped in secret. We waited. We hoped. He showed images of Earth's past, its mistakes, its near extinction, and then its rebuilding. We laugh in the face of war, he said, not because we're arrogant, but because it's absurd. The chamber fell quiet. Then, softly, a sound filled the air. Laughter. not cruel, not mocking their tech, but their heart. And as that laughter spread, the galaxy finally saw the truth. Humanity wasn't just ready for war. They were ready for something greater. And they were inviting everyone else to join them. T first, the other species in the Galactic Council weren't sure what to make of it. A few accused humanity of bluffing, claiming it was all holograms and illusions. The Tekari had failed, yes, but maybe they were weak. Maybe humanity had only built just enough to scare off one empire. But it didn't take long for the truth to settle in. Within days, long-range probes sent by neighboring species vanished the moment they entered human-claimed space. Ships trying to investigate suffered mysterious system crashes, only to be gently pushed back into neutral territory by invisible forces. No injuries, no retaliation, just a firm, polite refusal to be messed with, and always a message, please don't. Back on Earth, wherever it had been moved, life carried on, people gardened. Kids played soccer. Cafes served coffee with cinnamon dusted on top, just like always. The only real difference was the quiet satisfaction in the air. Like a secret joke, everyone finally got a shared. In a shipyard floating in the pocket of space where Earth now resided, engineers walked past reactors that could power star clusters. They laughed as they built vessels that folded space in on itself. The joke wasn't that humanity was strong. The joke was that no one saw it coming. One of those engineers, a quiet woman named Mina, had spent the last decade perfecting a hull material that could change phase depending on threat level. She used to think it was just theory, something fun for the lab. Now, her tech was being installed in the next generation of explorer ships. Not warships, explorers. Even now, after all the warnings, humanity still wanted to go out, not lash out. Mina wasn't the only one thinking that way. On Titan, an old poet named Eli had been asked by a news network to write about the shift in galactic balance. He refused, not because he didn't have thoughts, but because he didn't want to waste them on fear. Instead, he went to local school and read stories to the kids. When one asked if aliens are going to hurt them, Eli had just chuckled. Hurt us? No, he said. They're about to learn how to laugh. Meanwhile, the Tekari High Command reeled. Supreme Commander Vex still barked orders, demanded retribution, and held war councils. But the truth was spreading fast. The admirals were starting to whisper. Soldiers were asking questions. The High Command's control over its empire was slipping. Some younger Tekari officers began sneaking into human broadcasts, watching Earth culture in secret. They didn't understand it, not really, but they were curious. Why did these soft, emotional beings smile so easily? Why do they sing so much? Why do they keep offering peace even after being threatened? And why didn't they gloat? There were no grand speeches from Earth. No pedals. No military displays. No chisviatin declarations used quiet readiness. Calm laughter. An invitation that in the heart of a human diplomatic network. A small station orbited a star with no name. It was where the real messages were handled, the ones that mattered. There, an AI named Mero reviewed hundreds of diplomatic requests a second. Species from across the galaxy were reaching out, cautiously, curiously, and humans replied to every one with patience, with honesty, and, yes, with boundaries. We're happy to collaborate, the messages said. Just don't start a war with us. Some races didn't believe it. One smaller faction, the Grolon, sent a stealth drone toward what they thought was a hidden human power station. The drone vanished mid-flight, reappeared intact inside their own Capitol building, and projected a 3D emoji of a winking face before powering down. That emoji sparked a global debate in Grolon society. Was it a threat? A joke? A message? Eventually, they sent a delegation to Harmony Point. Their representative arrived wearing a pin of the same emoji on his lapel. Laughter broke out in the chamber. IT was the first true, shared laugh between species since the war that never happened. And yet, not all were convinced that on a storm-choked moon on the edge of known space, a splinter group of Tekari rebels prepared for what they believed was the final battle. We'll strike the heart of human pride, their leader growled. We'll bring down their oldest monument, New Alexandria, the city of learning. They launched their attack, cloaked and armed to the teeth. They didn't even reach the city limits. Not because they were stopped with fire or death, but because, halfway through their descent, Their ships gently landed themselves on a vast meadow outside the city, powered down completely. The Tekari rebels stormed out, weapons raised, only to be greeted by children on a field trip, pointing and giggling that a human security officer wandered over, chewing on a snack bar. "You folks lost?" he asked. The Tekari dropped their weapons and sat in the grass. Some cried, some laughed, and a few simply looked up at the stars and whispered, "What are we even fighting for?" Inside the Galactic Council, the tone was shifting. The Dravan Collective, once critical of humanity's silence, now pushed for a new treaty framework, one that acknowledged not just power, but wisdom. The Crystalline Aller formed a chorus that sang a message of truce. Even the ice-dwelling Kori offered a formal poem of alliance, their highest gesture of respect. And Earth kept building gardens in the newly visible city of Lumina. Once a myth, now revealed to the galaxy. Artists created sculptures made from living light. Scientists worked on folding smaller planets for emergency relocation. Musicians played songs that somehow echoed in frequencies Tekari ears had never even used before. Back in the diplomatic corps, the historian Choi received a visit from a curious young alien named Saren. They were from a species that had never made war, never sought allies. They had watched in silence, always apart, but Saren had questions. Why do humans laugh at war? Choi smiled and gestured for them to sit, because, he said softly, war is fear pretending to be strength. Laughter is strength without fear. Saren tilted their head. But you have the power to destroy. Isn't that frightening? Choi shook his head. Only if we forget why we built it. It's not about power. It's about making sure we never have to use it. He paused, eyes distant. We've walked through the fire before. We've burned our own world. But we came back, not as warriors, as gardeners, as storytellers, as explorers. He leaned forward. Now I want to walk with others. Not ahead, not behind, just together. Outside the chamber, the stars continued their quiet spin. The council had been changed, not by conquest, not by dominance, by something far stranger, by humans, by their refusal to escalate, by their readiness wrapped in laughter, and by the simple, unshakable truth that after 3,000 years of pretending to be weaker than they were, humanity wasn't preparing for war. They were preparing for peace. But they wanted to make sure they'd never be unprepared again. And in the hearts of every ambassador, every soldier, every curious student across the stars, a question lingered. If this is what humanity looks like when threatened, what might they become when truly trusted? That thought didn't bring fear to it, brought hope. Because for the first time, maybe ever, the galaxy understood. Humans weren't laughing at their enemies. They were laughing at the absurdity of fear itself, and inviting the galaxy to laugh with them.